Have you ever felt that sort of familiar tug, that desire to really change something in your life, maybe build a new habit, but you just don't quite know where to begin or how to make it stick?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a super common challenge, isn't it?
Totally. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. It's become really influential,
hmm
and its core idea is, well, it's powerful, but sounds simple.
Yeah.
Tiny, small 1% improvements done consistently every day can actually lead to huge results over time.
Right. It's all about those small shifts compounding.
hmm
And Clear's philosophy, it really flips the script on how we usually think about improving ourselves.
How so?
Well, he has that famous line, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems.
Okay, systems, not goals. That feels counterintuitive. We're always told set big goals.
Exactly. That's why it's powerful. We think motivation is the key, just push through. But Clear points out, motivation fades. It's unreliable.
Yeah, definitely felt that.
So he argues it's the daily habits, the systems you build, that really dictate your success long term. It's about designing the process, not just pinning your hopes on the outcome.
Okay, so if it's all about systems, how do we actually build better ones? Where does Clear suggest we start?
He starts somewhere really fundamental, identity.
Identity,
Yeah.
not actions.
Yeah. See, most of us focus on outcomes, like, I want to lose weight. That's the goal.
Right. Seems logical.
But Clear says shift that. Instead of, I want to lose weight, start thinking, I'm a healthy person.
Huh. I am a healthy person. What's the magic there? Why is being that person more effective than just doing healthy things?
Well, the key insight is that when you genuinely adopt that identity, when you truly believe, I am this type of person, a healthy person, a reader, an artist, whatever it is,
Uh-huh.
then the actions supporting that identity feel more natural. They just follow.
Yeah.
You're not forcing a behavior against your self-image. You're acting in line with it.
So the motivation comes from being that identity, not just chasing the external goal.
Exactly. It's internal. It's about becoming, not just achieving something.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. And then building on that, he breaks down every habit, good or bad, into this universal pattern, right? A
Yeah.
4-step loop.
Yep, the habit loop. There's the cue, that's the trigger. Then the craving the motivation or desire, followed by the response, the actual habit, and finally the reward, the satisfaction you get.
Cue, craving, response, reward. Okay.
So the practical part is figuring out how to use that loop. For good habits, Clear gives us 4 laws.
hmm
Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying.
Obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying. So you're basically engineering the habit.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You design your environment, your actions around those 4 things to make the good habits feel, almost effortless, easier to stick with.
And speaking of making things easy, that brings up another really powerful point he makes about our surroundings.
Yeah, the environment.
He says environment is stronger than motivation, which, when you think about it, wow.
It really is. His examples are so simple but effective. Want to read more?
Get a book on your pillow. Yeah.
Exactly. Want to eat healthier? Get the junk food out of the house. Don't even have it there.
Right, because your brain just naturally goes for what's visible and easy.
Precisely. It's not about summoning massive willpower every time. It's about setting the stage so the good choice is the path of least resistance. You make it easy on yourself before you even need to decide.
Okay, so making it easy is key. But what about just getting started? That moment when you feel zero motivation. I've definitely stared at my running shoes for way too long before giving up.
Oh, totally relatable.
Yeah.
That's where his 2-minute rule comes in. It's brilliant for tackling that inertia.
The 2-minute rule, how does that work?
It's simple. Start any new habit by doing it for just 2 minutes. That's it.
2 minutes.
Yep. Want to read more? Just read 1 page, 1 exercise. Just put on your shoes and walk for 2 minutes. Meditate. Sit for 1 minute.
So you're just lowering the bar.
Yep.
Ridiculously low.
Exactly. It removes that huge mental hurdle of the big commitment. You're not aiming for an hour workout. You're just aiming to start.
And the idea is that starting is the hardest part.
Often, yeah. And what's cool is how often those 2 minutes just naturally flow into more.
Yeah.
You build that tiny bit of momentum and you prove to yourself, okay, I can do this. It's about showing up.
I like that. Okay, so that's building good habits. What about the flip side? Breaking the bad ones we want to get rid of.
He uses the inverse strategy. If you make good habits obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying.
Then you make bad habits invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying.
You got it. Make them inconvenient. Add friction.
So examples, like scrolling social media too much.
Log out after each use. Turn off the notifications. That makes it invisible and less attractive. Don't keep chips in the pantry if you're trying to eat better. That makes it difficult.
Right, create barriers, make it harder to actually do the bad habit.
Exactly. It's about adding these small points of friction, physical or digital, so you aren't just relying on sheer willpower in the moment of craving. You've already made it harder for yourself.
So, wrapping this all up then, what's the big takeaway for someone listening?
I think it boils down to this. Your habits, those small daily actions, they're essentially the architects of your future.
Wow. Architects of your future, that's big.
It is. And the crucial part is you don't need perfection. You just need consistency, that 1% better each day.
It really does compound. It adds up to massive change over time, even if it doesn't feel like it day to day.
Absolutely. It's those tiny, almost insignificant choices repeated that unlock those really big transformations. The goal isn't some huge overnight success.
Right. It's just continuous small improvements showing up.
Exactly. Small steps really do build something extraordinary.
So, based on all this, maybe a final thought for everyone listening. What's one single small habit, something you can do in just 2 minutes, that you could start today? Something that begins building the identity you really want to become?